the biggest challenge is where you are constantly doubting your abilities. Critical reasoning has been a complete nightmare because I used to face two very major challenges. Even the test maker knows what you're going to pre-think, and he is going to put that as a trap for you to falter in. I was on the 10th or 15th question maybe, and then I realized, oh my god, I'm so much drained of the energy. I can't do any more. I can't solve even a single question now. I think the best part was that I scored a 670 on one of the mocks, and that was actually the best part because the immediate next day, I was very willing to give a mock to test my abilities, and that was the day when I felt that I have nothing to lose. I remember you coming in and telling me that, see, the data can't lie. And that is where and when I realized the importance of believing in yourself.
So, hi Ridhi, congratulations on the massive 750 score, an improvement of 50 points in just over a month, something that is a truly amazing feat.
Yes, thanks a lot, Ridhi. None of this had been possible without your help and guidance.
Thank you so much for your kind wishes, but it's truly just down to your hard work, your diligence, and all the effort that you've put in over this time, right?
Yeah.
And I know that this journey wasn't easy, right? It had a lot of its own ups and downs, moments where I'm sure you felt like just tossing in the towel and giving up. But if you had to look back and think, what was really the biggest challenge for you throughout this
Hmm.
entire GMAT journey?
I think the biggest challenge is where you are constantly doubting your abilities. Because I remember even when I was seeing a Quant 50, I used to just feel that, it's a fluke. I can't. It's just because I encountered some easy questions. That is not going to happen on the actual GMAT. And I remember you coming in and telling me that, see, the data can't lie. And that is where and when I realized the importance of believing in yourself, because faith goes a long, long way. Because I remember your words clearly that the GMAT is already your enemy. You need to be your biggest ally. And that stayed with me for a very, very, very long time. Because that was the only way I was able to calm myself down during the exam. And because it was just the missing belief factor which made my score turn from 700 and jump from 700 to a 750.
Mhm. So that's really amazing. The power of belief in this GMAT journey is something that shouldn't be understated at all.
Yes.
But, before we dive into your GMAT journey itself, how you started, what you did, and all the secrets to this amazing improvement, let's give the audience a bit of a glimpse into who you are first, right?
Yeah. So I graduated in 2020 from Delhi University. I've been a full-time working professional since then. Right now, I'm working in a boutique startup as a consultant, and that's all about me. I'm a movie buff. I love to watch movies. Even in this GMAT journey, the one constant companion has been my movies, and that's gonna be a constant forever. So yeah, that's all about me.
Wonderful. So let's look at how Movie Buff made her own, kind of redemption arc and is the GMAT, right?
Yeah.
So I know that this journey from 700 to 750 was really quick. You had only about a certain amount of time, but I know that you've been in some way studying on and off for the GMAT for a while now.
Hmm.
So how first did you start thinking about the GMAT and about the MBA? And how did you really start preparing for taking the exam?
So this journey goes long, long back. It goes back to 2019. I started studying with a friend because I had so much of ample time and I just wanted to be a little productive in life. And I got bored of it in just 2 or 3 weeks. And then in the fourth years, I picked it up again, left it in between, didn't complete it in any of the time. And then I picked it up for one final time in 2023 just to get done with it. And yes, now finally it's been done and dusted.
Hmm. So just to clarify, in your fourth year, right, that's when you were studying with e-GMAT as well for a short while, where that's, I
Hmm.
think, where you got your intro into the basics and how to really use the course, the kind of way to tackle the GMAT and so on and so
Yes.
forth. And
Yeah.
then a couple of months ago, you decided, okay, let me give this thing a real shot at it. And you started prepping again.
Hmm.
So, how did this prep journey differ from all the times you tried to study before? And what really did you do to utilize this time effectively? Because I know you were also studying full time at this time.
Yeah. So basically, I felt that all of the previous times when I started this journey, I was in it alone. This time, I had the support of two very dear people. One is you, and second is my friend. So I just knew that I needed someone to be accountable to. So I chose to have a accountability partner, a study buddy, who can tell me that, now I am forward. Now you're lagging behind in this race. So it was just in the race that I needed to put myself in to excel. And this time I just chose to have somebody by my side so who can push me forward. And I think you did a great job there. You finally aced in pushing me to give the exam, and that was it.
Got it. So, once you started really studying here, before you came to me, you were studying with your friend, you were
Yeah.
revising a lot of the notes that you had, right? And I think at some point you realized that you had certain strengths and certain weaknesses.
Hmm.
But what was kind of the trigger for you to realize that, okay, I need another person on my side to help push
Yeah.
me forward?
Back then I was just mindlessly practicing questions. I was just giving mocks, seeing that okay, I'm not scoring good in CR, so I would just go on mindlessly practicing CR questions then. But what became a trend was that 700 score. It used to vary from 690s to 710 maximum, and I wasn't able to break that plateau. So I just needed to know that what should I do and in what quantum should I do that? And then the next point was that I just wanted to get done with this in 1 month. So I
Mhm.
wanted someone to define each day for me because I wanted to focus all my efforts in execution. Because had I had more quantum of months, I would have dedicated in planning, devising a strategy, and executing it. But since I had kept a very short period of time for myself and to this exam, I just wanted someone to hold my hand and tell me that these are the steps you need to follow, and I would just go and follow them blindly. So that is where I thought to have somebody from e-GMAT to mentor me and uh, pace me forward in this journey.
Got it. So as soon as you came on board, you'd taken the first Sigma X mock. And I think it's important for the viewers to understand what I as a mentor really saw there. It's that one, you had the basics done. You were not someone who for the most part needed to really start from scratch and build up their conceptual knowledge or build a process. A lot
Hmm.
of your journey was a process in refinement of
Yeah.
taking something that was good and turning it into something that was great, right?
Yes.
And the second thing, most importantly, also, was us just building the right test taking mindset and the test taking skill
Yes.
set so that you could actually tackle that exam.
Correct.
But let's talk about that process of refinement first, and then
Hmm.
we'll talk about that test taking piece, right?
Yeah.
So, the first thing that we really started working on was SC.
Hmm.
Already, you were really good there. But what do you think you tweaked through our improvement plans that helped you then excel?
I think it was the belief-based approach because earlier to that, I just used to see where are the errors. I just used to be very grammatical while eliminating the answer choices. And I used to get stuck between the last two answer choices, and then it was a random guess.
Mhm.
But when I encountered this particular process of solving questions when you're stuck at the last, and then just relying on the meanings, having that meaning supremacy above everything, I was able to get from the 80th percentile to the 90th oblique 100th percentile in sentence correction.
Wonderful, right? So it was just that small shift
Yes.
into when you get into those hard questions that okay, grammatically, maybe there are a lot of things correct here, but what is actually conveying the intended meaning of the sentence? That's the right choice for you, right?
Correct. Yes.
So that small shift, in fact, shifted your medium accuracy to 100% on cementing
Yeah.
quizzes, and it shifted your hard accuracy close to 80, right? So that's
Yes.
already very much clearly in the 90th percentile. How
Hmm.
did cementing actually play a role as you were working on this process of refinement?
Um, I think cementing quizzes are first thing is that they give you a lot lesser time than is provided on the actual exam. I think they give you around 1.4 or 1.6 minutes per question, which
First.
made me realize that okay, I need to solve a lot in a lot less timing. So that actually helped me to improve my timing a lot, because what I realized was that even when I got to the right answer choice, I was just rereading the question and the answer choices again to recheck and verify whether I picked the correct answer, whether I've not missed any of those options. And because there was a time crunch in the cementing quizzes, I used to eliminate that option completely. And after that, I realized, okay, this was not needed at all. It has saved me, I think, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes overall.
Oh, wow. Okay, 5 to 10 minutes on the verbal section, especially, is
Definitely.
the
Yeah.
huge boon to have, right?
Yes.
So that's really great to hear.
Hmm.
But now we move from SC to what was for you perhaps the most challenging part of the verbal section, critical
Hmm.
reasoning, right?
Yes.
So explain to our viewers what was wrong with critical reasoning and what did you do to fix it, to build up your ability?
Critical reasoning has been a complete nightmare because I used to face two very major challenges. First is that even when I used to pre-think, I used to take a lot of time, lot of time. I used to take around 1.5 minutes in just pre-thinking, which
Mhm,
made me realize that okay, this is not the approach that I need to follow. Otherwise, I would just be spending more than 5 minutes on a single question, which you can't afford on the actual exam.
mhm,
And the second problem was that even when I was able to pre-think in the right quantum of time, and I didn't used to see the answer choices as per my pre-thinking in the options available, I used to fumble and I used
mhm,
to get numb. Okay, what next? I don't know. My approach has faltered. What to do? And then this was just I had one session with Harsha, and that changed everything for me because he told me that even the test maker knows what you're going to pre-think, and he is going to put that as a trap for you to falter in. And
mhm.
that made me realize, okay, pre-thinking is not everything. It is something, it is used just to provide you a guidance or a navigation path forward, but it is not everything. And then he made me analyze and realize the power of visualization, that you need to visualize every statement that you're reading, present it as a story in your head, and the CR will become a cakewalk for you. And yes, it actually became a cakewalk for me then.
Oh, yeah. You were then, answering CR questions in just about 2 minutes, if not less, right?
Yeah.
Even really hard questions, you were kind of breezing through them. So definitely, once you tackled your issues with pre-thinking and you refined that process
Yes.
of visualization, the results definitely spoke for themselves,
Right.
right? Okay. The RC bit, I know you already had down before you came with us. You had a process, it really worked. It was just a little bit of practice that you needed to
Hmm.
focus on. So once we were done with SC, CR, and RC, right?
Hmm.
Then we moved to quant, where in quant as well, you were already on the higher side, ability wise. You knew
Yes.
pretty much all of the concepts, you had a process, but I still know that you gave your due diligence on the quant side and you really did put in a good amount of work to excel there. So,
Yeah.
how did you approach quant prep as someone who was already a high scorer? And what do you think changed through your prep?
So I think I've always been good in maths. Being an average Indian student, quant has to be your forte. So I had it against my ego to score even a quant 49 or quant 50. That wouldn't work for me. So I was just aiming for that perfect 51, and that made me work even harder and harder on quant. But I think I practiced a lot on Scholaranium because it gave such huge and humongous analytical details on each question that I was able to determine what sort of questions I'm solving in less than 30 seconds and what sort of questions I'm taking more than 2 minutes, where I need to put my efforts more. So all of that work was already being done for me. The analysis part was already being done. I just had to execute my efforts in the right direction to reduce that particular amount of time where I was spending more.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is just that hunger to score Con 51 pushed me to practice more.
Yeah. And I think that hunger is something that you retained not just on the con side, but on verbal as well. From day one, you were like, I need to get a great score. I'm willing to do anything, but I need to get a great score. And that's a
Yeah,
very important attitude to have.
right.
You need this,
Yeah.
you need a great score, that attitude, that hunger, right? And then
Hmm.
take everything calmly as if it doesn't matter
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards.
Your breathing exercise have helped me a lot.
Speaking of breathing exercises, let's kind of talk about test taking mindset and test taking skills as a whole, because I think that's where this really came in and became the most important, right?
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
one thing that we just kind of skipped over right now is that once you were done with all of verbal, you moved into something called test readiness.
Hmm.
So, how do you think test readiness was really an important part of your prep, and what's the value in it?
I think when you're in the practicing mode, you're just practicing questions for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then taking a break, looking at your phone, and then you're just having back all the energy again and then diving into the questions again. So I remember very vividly what happened on the first mock while I was giving it. I was on the 10th or 15th question maybe, and then I realized, oh my God, I'm so much drained of the energy. I can't do any more. I can't solve even a single question now. And then I remember you telling me that, okay, let's start with mini mocks and then we'll jump on to the main exam. So those mini mocks actually geared me up and prepared me to have that stamina to encounter 36 questions and 31 questions in a go without draining my energy, because even after when you're done with verbal and quant, you have two more sections left which you need to excel in order to get into a good school. So I think not only acing those acing and strategizing your timing for those particular sections is important. What is more important is to utilize those 8 minutes gap and break very judiciously. So I just used to do those breathing exercises which you had taught me. I used to go and just grab my snack, and that was it. That actually made me regain my energy and attack the exam with full power.
Mhm. Got it. So that's good that you realize that that 8-minute break is something that you can strategically use to position yourself a lot better for the next subsection, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
let's also talk about how you kind of develop that right mindset, because I know the mock journey was perhaps the most turbulent part
Yeah, right.
of your GMAT prep, right? There
Hmm.
were a lot of highs and lows, there were some ups and downs. And I think that's the period where you also kind of had to give it
Yeah,
150%.
right.
So, what, so for the viewers, right, describe your mock journey and what went right and what went wrong.
I think the best part was that I scored a 670 on one of the mocks, and that was actually the best part because the immediate next day, I was very willing to give a mock to test my abilities, and that was the day when I felt that I have nothing to lose. What can be worse than 670? It could be nothing. So I was then full geared and prepared like a warrior. I was ready to lose everything because I knew there's nothing beyond 670.
Mhm.
So at that particular point of time and that very next mock, I gave my full and I scored a 760. And that is when I realized that, okay, belief, faith, and having the right mindset can shift your score from 100 points. So I realized the importance of having the right mindset, what the actual D-Day can do to your mindset, and how it can hamper all your efforts that you have been putting in for so many months.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, right? So
Yes.
if you had to tell our readers, tell our viewers, right, what the right mindset is going into a mock and going into the exam,
Yeah.
how should they prepare themselves and what should their mindset be on
Hmm.
that D-Day?
So what I did was I fooled myself until the very last day. I fooled myself saying that this is just a mock exam. I'm going to give my actual exam after 7 days. I knew this was a stupid thing to do, but I knew that I can fool myself. I'm a stupid person. I can easily fool myself. And that actually calmed myself. I was thinking that, okay, what if I score poorly on this? I won't send the scores. Nobody would know. I won't tell everyone. Everyone knows that my exam is in the next week, so it doesn't matter. So I was just giving in my best. And I think the second most important thing is that once you're done with the question, let bygones be bygones. Don't hang on to it, onto that particular question and think that, okay, I took so much longer in that question. Now I'm going to falter. And I've seen so many people who practice so many difficult questions while they are in the practice stage. And when they encounter the actual exam, they falter because they think that, okay, I'm getting so many easy questions, so I am just on the lower side of the score. So just don't let that bother you because you can't do anything there. Do what you can do at that particular point of time. Just give your best. And that just don't be fearful of the outcomes, and then you'll actually succeed.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Really well said. I'm so happy to hear this.
Yeah.
Right? That the only thing, I think I've said this to you as well, that the only thing you
Yes.
have control of is the one question in front of you. The question that's you finished, it's gone. There's no control there.
Correct.
You
Right.
can't see the questions that are coming in front of you. You can't think, what subsection it is, what difficulty it is. You have no idea, right?
Yes.
So why spend any mental bandwidth worrying about all those things when you could be giving it your all to just that one question in front of you?
Yes, because I remember this very clearly. While I give all the official mocks, I used to have 12 to 13 minutes of spare time in quant section. But when I was giving my actual exam, I just had 20 spare seconds left, and I knew that I had not performed as good as I would want to in this particular section. So I did not let that thought hamper my progress. I just knew that if I was going to put 100 energy in verbal, now I need to put 200 energy in verbal to just nullify that disadvantage that is going to carry forward from the con side of the exam.
And that worked out, right? You had an
Yeah,
amazing verbal score of V42. That's something that not many people can hope to achieve.
yes,
So the mindset, it absolutely paid off for you, right?
correct. It absolutely did.
Yes. And you spoke a little bit in the beginning about the value of just having people with you, right, throughout
Hmm.
this journey. But what do you think that as a mentor, what should you really look out for, and what should you actually ask a mentor to help you out with? Where's the value in having someone with you on this journey?
I think when you have a study buddy or a friend with you, there is a shield which you carry with yourself. You can't let them see every weakness in every weakness of yours that you carry in every topic because you have to be smart in front of them. So in front of your mentor, you can be as foolish as you want to. You can explore and you can just be I don't know the right word here, but you can tell them about everything, about every fear that you hold, whether it's as minute a fear of just having not the right mental ability. Because I think for me, the real game changer where you came in was, of course, the ability, but where you changed my mindset that when I didn't believe in myself, there was somebody who did, and it was you. When I was constantly doubting my abilities, you were there to tell me that you can't. You have to have focus and that faith in you because the data can't lie. And that actually pushed me. That actually pushed me a lot. So I think one thing that is really undervalued right now is the right mental space or the energy or faith that you need from yourself or just from someone else, that that someone is there to back you up in case if you falter. So even when I was giving my exam, I knew that even if I fail today, Rida is there. I'll tell her what happened and she'll be there. She'll be like, okay, fine, not a biggie, we'll just encounter this again in next 5 days and I'll be good to go. So just exposing your mindset to your mentor is very important, because that person needs to understand what state you're in, how confident or underconfident you are, because there is no point hyping up a person who's already very confident. That would turn out into something negative. So yeah, that
Absolutely.
actually played wonders for me.
Right. So thank you for the kind words about me. I'm really glad. But I think it's also really important to emphasize what you said, that this goes for me, this goes for all our mentors here, that we're here to help you,
Yeah.
but that relationship works on honesty and it works on trust, which is a bond
Yes.
that we built really strong throughout our journey,
Correct.
right? And when you're honest and when you trust that what we say is with intention, right, it's with
Hmm.
your personal goals in mind, right?
Correct.
And then when we work collaboratively to get to that output,
Hmm.
wonders happen, as is evidenced by
Yeah.
your score, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I'm glad to hear that I was part of this, and I'm so glad to see the way that you've really taken this GMAT journey and pushed through, powered through, never given up. You know,
Yeah.
even on the days when you used to be upset, when you didn't believe, right? There was never any point where you gave up on this journey at all, which is, I think,
Right.
something that's very important for people to know, that no matter how hard it is, you
Yeah.
shouldn't give up, right? You should keep
Yes.
fighting. Tomorrow will be
Yes.
a better day,
Correct.
right?
Because as you said, the exam is already your enemy, so you need to be your biggest ally.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we close this off, if you have one thing to tell all the GMAT aspirants out there, the ones who are starting out, the ones who are struggling, the ones who just need to hear something, right, from someone who
Yeah.
succeeded, what would it be?
Uh, I think the biggest key takeaway is that be the best critique of yourself. While you're practicing questions, practice as aggressively as you can, and focus on quality over quantity. Doing 100 number of questions and not analyzing them well would lead you nowhere. Just do 10 questions but analyze them in depth, so that even when you're sleeping you know what mistakes you did. That thought is imbibed and instilled in your mind, okay, I committed this, and just maintain a proper error log, because you are a human being, you are going to forget things, but that particular one sheet of paper is going to help you a lot in the last days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really well said. I have nothing to add on here except to say thank you again for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you here. And as you already know, it's been a pleasure mentoring you, right? All the
Yes.
very best for what's to come next, and take care, right?
Thanks a lot. You too.
All right, then. So thanks everyone for logging on. This is Ridhi with Ridha, and we hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye bye.